An NFL quarterback attacking a reporter, news anchors screaming at each other on CNN, and Connor McGregor trying to fistfight his opponent before they get into the ring. All of this on today's most amazing top 10 list. And without taking any longer, let's get into the list. Coming in number 10, we have Don't Call Jim Everett Chris. So Jim Rome had a long running joke of calling St. Louis Rams quarterback Jim Everett Chris Everett. I don't know how this joke got started, but the thing is that Jim Everett hated this, and eventually they're both in the same room together for an interview. Jim Rome sticks to the bit and decides that he would call Jim Everett Chris to his face. Well, Jim lets him know that he better stop doing that, and that's going to be the last time he says that to him. Jim Rome takes him up on this challenge and calls him Chris right to his face. And then we get this.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
Now, the quarterback isn't the most menacing player on the field, but any professional athlete is usually the size of a truck, and you can see how easy it is for Jim Everett to throw Jim Rome to the ground. Rome should be counting his lucky stars that his producer was there to break it up, because I think Everett would have crushed his head in his hands like he was squeezing a nectarine. Coming in at number 9, we have Anderson Cooper destroys BLAGOJEVICH. Here's the thing, we know that many politicians are slimy and try and do whatever they can to try and slip away with all their dirty deeds. Sometimes this is so blatant that it can make you sick to your stomach. In this interview with BLAGOJEVICH, who's been convicted of taking bribes, tell Anderson Cooper that he's a political prisoner similar to Nelson Mandela.
You had a jury convict you. You had appeals courts look at your sentencing, and you even appealed to the Supreme Court twice.
Anderson Cooper isn't having any of this, but BLAGOJEVICH continues to try and push the idea that he's some sort of victim, that just his sentencing is similar to the way that black people in South Africa were treated during apartheid. Anderson Cooper informs him that he's actually guilty and nowhere close to being a political prisoner, and then we get this clip.
And you refuse to do that, and you're creating a whole new alternate universe of facts, and that may be big in politics today, but it's still, frankly, just bullshit.
I love that Anderson Cooper won't let this guy budge for a second. I mean, he didn't go to prison, so was justice really served? I don't think so. But some more people get to see how slimy this governor is, and hopefully down the road when people get savvy to what kind of criminal he is, he will get his justice. And guys, don't forget to hit that like button because it really helps us out a lot. Coming in at number 8, we have Alexi Lalas has had enough. Alexi Lalas is one of the great American soccer players. That's a sentence you don't really hear every day. Well, one fine day he's doing some sports broadcasting about the current American national team, and he went on a long rant about how much these guys suck.
Better. Josie Altidore. Is this really as good as it gets? Because it's still not good enough. Bruce Arena. Bruce, Jurgen Klinsmann lost at home to Mexico. You lost at home to Costa Rica.
That is just a small chunk of it. As you can see, he's going through a ton of players, naming them by name and breaking down why they suck and how they need to be better. I mean, he's really trying to make these guys play harder. Later on in that rant, he calls them soft, overpaid millionaires. He really wanted to send the message home that he thinks all of these guys suck at soccer. Coming in at number 7, we have Charles Blow has had enough from Kayleigh McEnany. There's definitely a boiling point when it comes to politics. People will put up with the other side's rhetoric for only so long before they start to clap back and pull them down. Charles Blow is sitting next to Kayleigh McEnany, and the two of them sit on opposing sides when it comes to politics. Kayleigh starts talking to Charles and touches him, and he responds with, "Don't touch me." Kayleigh goes on to say, "Sorry, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to touch you," and then says, "I don't know if you feel like an American, but we have to work together as Americans." And Charles says, "Excuse me?" And then we get this clip.
American? Maybe I don't believe that I'm American. Don't do that.
You said I'm not even allowed to touch you. That is just like what Maxine Waters said.
No, you're not.
That's very sad, Charles.
Yeah, the dude wasn't going to have that string bean tell him he's not an American. He went off on her, and I got to give it to him because that is some of the best finger waving I have ever seen in my life. Coming in at number 6, we have Bill Maher gets heckled. Bill Maher has had a political talk show for some time now, and it's no surprise that having a show about politics has ruffled some feathers in the past. Maher has had his share of death threats, angry tweets, and everything else that people have tried to do to come bring the dude down. Well, on his show he had an angry outburst.
Anyway, you have good friends.
Tell us what happened in Philly 7, Bill.
That one's not mine.
A group of conspiracy theorists decided that they would get into the audience of a show and start yelling stuff that no one who was watching the show could really make out, so I'm not sure how much this message was worth. Now, the clip I just showed you was after they already had kicked out 2 people, one of which MAHR had to kick out himself because it took so long for security to get there. Well, these people wanted to get the message across about how the government is lying to them, but all that really came across was some crazy faceless people were really angry, just like any other day in America. Coming in at number 5, we have Boomer Goes Boom. Chris Berman, also known as Boomer, has been working with the NFL since before I can remember, so it should be no surprise that the dude has had a bad day. We have all had bad days in the past. Eventually everything is going to catch up with you. Right before Boomer was set to go live, there were people running all over set, ducking under the camera and swooping in and out of the background. Obviously, you have to be very focused to give everyone their football news. This can be distracting, and it turns out that this dude had enough.
Can't everybody stop for 10 minutes? I mean, everybody seems that's the only... Everybody, can we stick... Jesus Christ. I mean, it's not that much to ask. Is that when everybody has to move when I'm trying to concentrate?
He erupts on camera, but I kinda get it. This man is trying to do his job. Some people might see him as some sort of a diva, but really, are you a diva if you just need people to stop running underneath the camera so you can focus on your take? Come on, guys. Coming in at number 4, we have DELLOR Explodes. DELLOR used to be a very prominent player in the Overwatch community. He had a pretty huge following and was playing with the Toronto Overwatch team. It seems that he should have had a great career as a streamer and a gamer, but he threw that all away when he was having a very rough game. He was playing against a team that had a Widowmaker who was an ace shot. For those of you who don't know, Widowmaker is a sniper, so if someone is skilled with her, they can really shut down the enemy team. DELLOR was on the receiving end of this for quite a bit, and it eventually got to the point where he exploded. I'm going to play you a clip of what his team heard. I will tell you in advance that this clip is bleeped out because we can't play that on this channel, but I want to play it for you so you can see how long it is. Now, what's the big deal? He was only swearing, right? Well, it was because he was just saying the N-word over and over and over again. Now, this was about 4 years ago, and since then DELLOR has come forward and said that he was addicted to drugs at the time and has gone through a lot to try and rehabilitate himself. Coming in at number 3, we have We'll Do It Live. This is one of the most famous Bill O'Reilly freakouts. He doesn't get quite what he's supposed to say because the teleprompter isn't working, and then he freaks out like this.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
Yeah, when you see him like that, it makes no surprise to find out that he was a dirtbag. Coming in at number 2, we have Connor McGregor snaps. There's no shortage of clips of Connor McGregor freaking out and trying to attack someone. It seems like the man starts a fight no matter where he is in the world. Well, during a pre-fight press conference before the UFC where Connor McGregor was set to fight Eddie Alvarez, he had a freakout that looked like he was going to run right through Dana White. This was before Connor was the lightweight champ, and what happened was he showed up to the conference late, he walks over to the current champ, takes the belt off his table, so Eddie Alvarez tosses a chair at him, not very aggressively, like he literally just kind of tosses it, and then we get this. I thought they were going to push the pay-per-view event right up to that moment. After that, the two of them scream at each other for a little bit, but no one really gets hurt. That's not until they actually fight and Connor knocks out Eddie in the first round to take the lightweight title. Then someone got hurt. Coming in at the number 1 spot, we have Mike Tyson comes for Lennox Lewis. This has to be one of the most famous public freakouts of all time. It was the live press conference that was set up to promote one of the big last boxing heavyweight matches. The current champ, Lennox Lewis, was to take on the challenger who was making his rise back to the top, Mike Tyson. Well, it turns out that Tyson couldn't wait until fight night to get his hands on Lennox Lewis and went straight for the dude. This turned into all-out chaos, with each side having their entourage jump in to try and separate everyone from what was going on. Everyone rushes the stage and the whole thing looks like a swarm of bees bouncing off each other. It's followed by one of the most famous rants that Tyson has ever given in his life. I would love to play that clip for you guys here, but there is way too much swearing and slurs in it for me to show you guys, so you'll just have to imagine in your mind what it looks like to have a furious Mike Tyson yelling obscenities at you. Alright guys, now to answer some questions from my Instagram inbox. King Jared198 wrote in and asked, have you always been this awesome? And the answer is no. It took a lot of trial and error to make my way up to this level of awesome. Courage Wolf wrote in and asked, is Canadian life amazing? I've always wanted to go there. Canada is actually pretty awesome. Our winters are pretty brutal, but we got free healthcare, low crime rates, and for the most part people are really nice. And finally, Baby Beazle XOXO wrote in and asked, hairless cat in a sweater or beaver in a tutu? Hairless cat in a sweater for sure. Beavers are crazy mean and they're very territorial. You don't want to run to a wild beaver. Having a cat you can dress means you can put the best fit on them ever. Alright guys, that has been our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I've been your host, Jay Dorena, and watch those live TV outbursts. They're great.